So we finally got our spindle from China, and it looks like it's in pretty good shape. I already spun it up once just to verify that it runs. This is the mount. So remember, I had a problem with the center screw that wasn't threaded at all. So I went out and bought a number 8 tap metric, and I didn't really need the drill bit, but it came with the kit. So for another $8 that it cost me, I drilled out this with an H size drill, then I tapped it. So now all 3 of them work correctly. I also made this mount by hand, and I really miss Mr. Machine because he could have knocked this guy out for me in no time whatsoever, and I would have made a few little modifications to the plate that I'm going to put on. But the spindle fits in here, and I did 3 1/4-20s hex on one side and 3 1/4-20s hex on the other side, and got them tapped into the back plate. So this is what I'm going to mount on the Z-axis, and the spindle will fit into here. So we're ready to mount. Okay, on this part, on the Z-axis, I carefully aligned the plate to the center of the screw. I then am going to be drilling out 6 holes and screwing using 1/4-20 screws, nuts and bolts, to mount this to the Z-axis. So, you know, all it is a matter of positioning it. All right, so 4 more left to go, and I won't bore you with it. So I got all my hard work done, I think. So the next thing to do is actually mount the spindle and see what happens here. So I'm going to temporarily mount it. I'm not going to worry too much about aesthetics here. This is the spindle, and I got an 80mm thing over here. So I just slightly bend this thing open. And hopefully this thing will slip in, and voila. That's really what I wanted to see right there. So you can see I got a few problems. I want to rewire a couple of things. I want to make sure that this is near the bottom, and it fairly is. These are the water pipes, and this is the main power. So this is the nut. So now the next thing I got to do is take the 3 8mm set screws, put them in here, and I'm going to just snug them up a little bit. Just about like that. You don't want to crush the body of the spindle, but you want to make sure that the spindle is secure inside of the, and won't slip out when you ram it. And believe me, I will probably ram it at least once or twice. Okay, and then do the snug. 1, 2, and 3. And that's it. That should be everything that I need to do a run. Okay, so we have everything mounted. I do not have enough silicone tubing to actually mount it the way I want to yet. So it looks like a trip to the hardware store to get more supplies for this. But we're going to try to go ahead and do a test of the spindle with everything's mounted, and let's see what happens. So the first thing you got to do is I got to turn on the VFD, which is over here. And it takes about a few seconds for the VFD to come up. Okay, the VFD is up. So the next thing I got to do is make sure that water is running. So I flipped the pump motor on and we should be getting a nice flow of water through the tubes. Want to make sure to check that there's no leakage, and I think everything looks like it's working the way it's supposed to. So next thing is manually I'm going to go ahead and try to turn on the VFD and spin and put the collet that they gave me. I got a 1/4 inch collet in here with a 60-degree engraving bit, and let's see what happens. Well, I gotta say one thing. This is quiet. Now I know once it hits the water and it hits the wood, it's going to be pretty noisy. But considering that it's going at approximately 15,000 RPM right now, hey, I'm pretty happy with this. I'm listening. There was a minor little gurgle in here from a spindle bearing, maybe. But other than that, she seems to be running pretty good. So I don't see any deflection. I think it looks pretty good, and I think within a few minutes I'm going to try just a very small engraving thing with it and see what happens. Same chair, same person, different cup though. I got this one in Newport, Oregon, and I kind of like it. It's a kind of an artsy cup. So anyways, I'm talking about my CNC and the finalization of one of my orders. I had ordered a CNC kit from Powais 21, which is on eBay. And the reason primarily that I ordered from them was that they had shipping from USA, local stock. So I says, hey, that's a pretty good deal, and I'm going to go ahead and do an order. So I placed the order. Well, within a few minutes of placing the order, I was contacted by them, and they says, hey, we only have one of these in stock, but we don't have the water pump, so is it okay if we ship this and we'll ship the water pump to you from China? I says, great, no problem, I don't care, as long as I get the product. It was a fairly decent price and from the United States, and I figured that would keep me busy for a while. So I waited and waited and waited, and finally the spindle came in, and I got all that wired up, and I waited for the water pump. Then the water pump came real fast too, so I was really pleased by that. They had pretty good service so far. Well, I powered up the VFD, programmed it per the instructions that I found on the internet, and everything looked okay. And turned on the water pump, got a nice cooling flow, and turned on the VFD for actually running the spindle. Well, the spindle ran for about 5 seconds and died. And man, I was in a panic. Here I've got all this money out and nothing to show for it, and I got all this time involved in it. So the next thing that I did is, I re-looked at everything. All my wiring was correct. All my settings were correct. So I contacted them. So I shook a little bit, and they says, hey, listen, send us a video of the product. And that's the video I made just prior to this one. Well, I sent it to them, and they says, okay, yeah, you have a bad spindle. We're going to send you a new spindle. I go, great, fantastic. So it was a couple of days later after that they gave me a DHL shipping number from China. I go, I don't care where this is coming from as long as I get it. So I waited and waited and waited, because they said 5 business days I should get the product. 5 business days elapses, no product. And there's no movement on the product either. It's still stuck in Hong Kong. So I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. And finally, after 8 or 9 days, I said, hey, something's wrong. And I emailed this Powais person again, and says, hey, I don't know what's going on here. Something's wrong. Well, it turned out that either DHL or Powais, I don't know which one, and I really don't care, screwed up, and they just had the shipping papers, but they didn't have the product. So they apologized to me profusely and says, here's a new DHL tracking number, and here's and you're going to get this soon. So I go, great! So, you know, I'm watching this with anticipation, and sure enough, I see the DHL package start moving. I go, whoa, this is really great! And, you know, I'm getting all excited about it. Well, a couple days later, it gets stuck in LA. So I tracked it from Hong Kong to Seoul, South Korea, to Los Angeles, and it's stuck. So I go, huh. So I called DHL up, and DHL says, yeah, we had a technical glitch. We should have movement on it tomorrow. I sent an email to the POS people, and they says, yeah, you know, we'll check on it. And they checked on it and says, well, you know, it's a technical glitch. Hopefully it'll be moving tomorrow. Sure enough, tomorrow came, and the package started moving again. So I saw it go from Los Angeles to Portland to here. Well, as soon as I got it, which was slightly after lunch yesterday, I went ahead and wired it all back up again, plugged it in, turned on the water pump, and I'll tell you, one of the things I noticed is when I'm turning the motor, oh, it was smooth. The other one was rough, like you could almost feel the electrical pulse. On this one, nothing. It just free span. So I says, hey, I'm okay. So, you know, I turned on the VFD, turned on the water, and gave it a go. And it worked. So I was relieved. So that's when I started getting real busy and doing all this stuff. But I'll tell you one thing. This POS 21 that I dealt with, I know it sounds under the covers, whatever. I'm happy with the service that they gave me. They came through for me, and they actually, you know, gave me, you know, a product that seems to work, and I am going to be enjoying this over the next few days. So thank you very much for all of the hard work, POS, and I will probably be ordering some more parts from you. After I went to your site and saw what you have, I need a few of those things. Good enough. So hopefully tomorrow we'll do a video on the actual CNCing with this after I get all the copper tubing put in that I want to do.